Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm heading back into the dungeons, into the Crisis dungeons to be particular, and I'm going to be taking on the event dungeon of the Shinra Building. I'm going to show you guys how to get the S+ clear, I'm going to show you which bosses, the order in which to fight each boss, which trance abilities we're going to take, and overall the best setup for getting through this with regard to materia, weapons, etc. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so this is going to be the team I'm bringing in here. A little bit weaker in combat power than the team that I used to clear Mount Nebel. I do think that Mount Nebel is the harder of the two new event dungeons. This one is pretty tailored to Sephiroth, and so for those of you who did pull his Edged Wings banner, it's definitely going to make it a lot easier for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my pathing. So let's go over here to the map, and let's make this a little smaller. So you're going to start out right about here, and the very first thing I'm going to do is run along here to this first boss, all right, which is the I don't know what that is, the armored scorpion, the assault scorpion right here. All right, and let's go back to the map. All right, so the very first thing I'm going to do is make my way over to the assault scorpion. This one you're just trying to kill as fast as possible. Hopefully, if you can get it off before its first tail laser, that's great. But even if you can't, you can still get a really high score. Like it is with most Crisis dungeons, you're going for the S+. You're trying to get a score of between 50 and 60,000. 55,000 is like cream of the crop. If you can get 60k, it's amazing. But honestly, anything above 50 is going to be great. All right, so we're going to take him down. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run into the next room just to trigger the first set of ads here. These ads can be pretty annoying, especially when you start to stack the Crisis level. So I'm going to run in here and catch the first set of ads. The moment I get those, I'm going to go back into this room right here, and I'm going to go over here to the second fight, which are these three guys right here. It's going to be the custom sweeper and the two death machines. By this point in time, you're going to have fully charged up your summons. For this fight, I'm bringing in Ifrit and Shiva, and it's going to wipe them out pretty fast. They won't be too bad to take these guys down, especially as the second fight. After that, I'm going to run up here. You're going to collect the chests. There is a single random mob down here on the bottom, and then there is a triple random mob up here on the top. We're going to take both of those mobs out before we go into the third fight against the Queen Grass Strike right here. And this is going to be a fight where you're fighting three Queen Grass Strikes, and they are very weak to ice. So Diamond Dust is going to basically obliterate them. This fight is going to be probably the easiest fight of all the fights, except for maybe the death machines. So it's not going to be so bad. But you do want to fight the random encounters before you go into it. After that, we are going to go back into the second room. We will fight the next opponent right here, which is the specimen H0512. We are going to take a trance ability that makes us completely immune to poison, so this guy is not going to be so bad. He's kind of like the mole crawler in the sense that he will summon ads and get more DPS about halfway through, so we will hold back our summons and everything until that point, and then just wipe them out at the end. And then last but not least, we're going to take on Rufus and Darkstar right here. And all in all, it's going to be pretty chill. So let's get into the actual build here. In terms of sigils, we are looking at triangle and X sigils. So let me show you guys how I did this. So for Cloud, he's the only person in the team I am running triangle sigils with. The reason being is because for the Murasame right here, its third materia support ability is triangle sigil boost. So if you don't have the Murasame, you don't have a weapon that gives you triangle sigil boost, you'll probably have to run triangles on two of the characters. Yeah, especially later on for the last two fights, I think. But if you do have the Murasame, just throw one single triangle sigil on Cloud and you will be good. Other than that, going to Aerith, I am going to have an X Ruinra sigil right here, and an X Ruinra sigil on Sephiroth. Do take note that the triangle sigil that I'm using on Cloud is a Ruinra. It is not a Ruin Blow or a Ruinra Blow. That is because Rufus has a sigil phase in his fight where he will counter physical attacks during his sigil phase, right? Kind of like Behemoth. So you're going to want to bring in a triangle sigil magic-based ruin spell to counter that. Other than that, for their mid slots right here, I have Blizzara Blow on Cloud. I have Blizzara on Aerith, since a lot of the enemies here are weak to ice. I have Fyra on Sephiroth for the Assault Scorpion at the beginning. And then in the first slot for Cloud, I have a X Sigil Ruiner Blow, just so that he can help out the others for breaking X Sigils throughout the different boss fights. For Aerith, I am bringing a single Healing Asuna Poison. We will get a poison immunity, but not at the beginning, and the first 2 fights still can inflict poison on you. So you are going to want to bring at least 1 Healing Asuna Poison into the fight. And then last but not least, Rufus can inflict fatigue on you. And if Cloud is your only triangle sigil breaker and he inflicts fatigue on Cloud, it can be very hard for him to break 29 sigils by himself. Therefore, bring 1 Healing Asuna Fatigue just in case that happens, and you will be absolutely golden. So going into the actual characters themselves, as you can see here, I'm running the Samurai Garb on Cloud. I am also running the Murasame, of course, and then Zidane's Sword just for the non-elemental physical damage. His stats are 7.3k HP and 2.9k physical attack. And I am running Ifrit Hellfire on him. These are his sub-equips, Seaside Collar, Torn Wing, and the Crystal Gloves. Alright, so let's go over to Aerith here. Aerith is sitting at 6.8k HP, 2.1k magic attack, 1700 heal. I'm running the Fairy Tail in her first slot and the Sun Umbrella in her second slot, although I think... No, I'm going to keep that. That's a huge drop in heal right there. So I'm going to keep it just like this. A lot of the bosses are susceptible to magic defense and physical defense down, so the Sun Umbrella is going to be your golden weapon once again. Everything I think is susceptible to it except for the Assault Scorpion, which is the very first fight, so not really a big deal. Of course, we're bringing her Healing Wind, Limit Break, and then there's her 3 materia. As her sub-equips, I do have the Beach Parasol, the Prism Rod, and the Mithril Rod right here. But you're basically looking for 6k and above HP, as much magic attack as you can get without sacrificing heal. I think you want a minimum of 1500 heal going into this. Last but not least, here we have Sephiroth. He is using his ice costume right here. I have the Edged Wings in the first slot. The reason I am doing that is because in the Edged Wings support materia, we have the X Sigil boost. So now Sephiroth is going to be the key player in taking down X Sigils. He would have higher stats if I put the Aonibi in the first slot, but as you can see here, this does not support X Sigils, so I switched it like this. Other than that, we have Shiva for Shiva in his Limit Break slot, and then the 3 materias we talked about earlier, and these are his sub-equips. We have the Thousand Waves, the Arc Sword, and the Lefko Kipseli. He does have a little bit low of HP right here, so I might change something over. Let's see if we can get him higher than 6k without sacrificing his magic stat too much. Alright, so let's look through here. That's decent, 2.5k magic. Let's see here. What can we do? Ooh, this one's not bad. No, but it doesn't raise his HP. Ooh, this one should be good. This raises his attack and HP. Alright, so I'm going to take the Buster Sword. It will get him up to 6.2k HP. Alright, and we should be good to go. Let's go back to the team, sitting at a total combat power of 218,000. And yeah, let's get into it, guys. I'm going to show you how to clear the Shinra Building for an S+ clear on Very Hard. Alright guys, here we go, heading into the Shinra Building event dungeon on Very Hard. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to run up here and you're going to activate this panel, which is going to unlock that door up there for that later on treasure chest. The next thing we are going to do is come down here and take on this Assault Scorpion. I do want to make a note that he will raise magic attack at the beginning of the fight, and if you are not able to kill him before he's getting off his tail laser, you can sub out your Healing Asuna Poison for a defaith, or find some other place to do it just so that you have a way of reducing his magic attack, because it can do a great amount of damage. I'm going to try and beat him before that, so let's just see how it goes. I am going to go into this fight on auto just because it's a very close thing trying to beat him before the tail laser, and I don't want to be worried about switching the guard sigil. So I'm going to go to auto right here, and everyone's just going to go straight into damage. I'm really just going to focus Sephiroth with Fyra. As much as I can possibly do, we're just trying to get him with as much damage as you can. All right, just make sure you keep everyone topped off and just going on the DPS right here. He's going to have a sigil phase coming up in a second. All right, so for Aerith, I'm going to Cura there. Here comes the sigil phase. All right, there's that. Now we're going to try and just kill him as quickly as we can. Do everything in your power to kill him right now. All right. Oh, it's going to be so close. It's always so close. All right, so we didn't quite get it. So we're going to take a little bit of damage right here. Actually, a lot of bit of damage. After that, just go straight into a heal, and it should be basically over. All right, so there is the first fight. As you guys can see, a couple ways of dealing with it. I just keep my HP topped off. If you're above 6k, 6.5k on your characters, you should survive it despite his magic attack up. And that frees up that materia slot for Aerith to have healing as soon as poison, because this boss can poison you along with the second boss coming up. All right, so after we take that down, I am going to choose the healing potency plus 30%. I really like healing potency as a trance ability. I think it's really strong. I'm going to activate this panel right here. All right, that's going to open the door to the blue crystals, the 200 blue crystals right there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to run up here, get this treasure chest, and we're going to run into the next room and trigger the random mob that we don't want to fight later on. All right, so we are going to come down here, just run around until you trigger it. There it is. All right, send here, just do as much damage as you can. I'm going to switch over to Semi, and we're just going to Curaga and then let Cloud and Sephiroth do their thing right here. You can get a Night Bloom on them, which should do some damage. There's Healing Wind. I think I'll probably pop Healing Wind just here, just because I don't want to deal with it too much. These enemies can be very annoying, especially if you start to fight them at higher crisis levels. So for my strategies, it helps a lot to take them out as quickly as possible. All right, and just worry on keeping everyone topped up on HP. Okay. They do have like a gravity kind of attack, which does damage based on your total HP. So that's why they hit so hard. Okay, there we go. All right, so as you can see, that's crisis level 1, and it was still pretty strong to fight 2 of them right there. We're still going to have 2 more random encounters where we're going to fight a single one and then a trio of them. So keep that in mind. One thing I do want to note is that there will be a shiny little object up here in the corner. It's going to be 200 blue crystals, I believe, so don't forget to get that. Okay, at this point, we're going to tail back to the beginning, and we're going to finish off the first stage of Shinra Building before we come back here to finish it off. All right, so here we are, back where we were before. Just run down here, and let's see. I used a bunch of items in my S+ clear, so I'm going to be a little, let's see, we have a 29, a 31, and a 29. So I'm actually going to use some potions here, but I'm going to leave it where it is. All right, and now we're going to go into the second fight. And right off the bat, I'm just going to hit this guy with a Night Bloom, and then I'm going to use all of the summons right here. All right, that's going to take down the 2 adds on his left and right side. And don't worry, you will be able to recharge your Shiva for the 3 Queen Grass Strikes coming up with the 2 random add encounters. All right, that's going to take them down. Make sure to spend some time getting some heals off right here. Here comes the first stomp. All right, just defense up for it. All right, after that, we're going to heal again. There comes the triangle sigils. Switching over to Cloud, we'll use those Ruin Res. Oh, so close. Boom, so close right there. That was like way too close for comfort, actually. Whoa, that was so freaking close. So you can bring a second triangle sigil if you don't want to be super close on that right there. All right, here we go. We're going to get a score of 60,000. Second boss down. All right, after that, you're going to continue through this little corridor here up to the same place. All right, so here we have 3 different trance abilities. I am going to choose the poison resist plus 90%, even though you take a DPS kind of debuff right here. But we start this battle stage with poison resist plus 10%, so that's going to give us the total of 100 for the specimen that we have to fight later on. After that, just run up here. You're going to fight a single random mob encounter. All right, come get this chest and kind of just run around until you proc it. All right, there we go. I'm going to Kiraga as much as I can, and then on Sephiroth, we're just trying to use ATB things to get up his summon bar. All right. All right, and now that we have Hellfire on Cloud, we're actually going to use Hellfire to fight the queen or the next set of random mobs, just because they're so annoying. Okay, so there goes the first one. That was just a single one of those things. They are really damn annoying. All right, so let's go up here. So it looks like we're at minus 48%, minus 50%, minus 48%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a special supplement on each of them, which is going to heal 40% of their max. Okay, looks like I have 3 potions left. I think I'm going to use the potions here just to be safe. Okay, then we're going to come up here, get this treasure chest. We're going to spawn the next set of ads. All right, here we go. So just run around. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Night Bloom on Aerith. Okay, and then we're going to Hellfire with Cloud. Boom, there we go. All right, this should do a sizable chunk of damage to them. You can use Healing Wind right after this, which I think I will, just to be safe. Okay, there's that. Here comes this. We're going to go for the Kiraga. All right, there's 1 down. 2 down. So as you can see, using Hellfire really makes this fight a lot more doable, especially because we're not going to have any more potions going into the next fight right here, but we are looking good. So we're at like minus 8%, minus 12%, and I think minus 11% overall, and we're pretty healed up, all right? So at that point in time, just come down here, go into your little briefcase, grab a Blizzard Cocktail, put it on Sephiroth, since he's going to be using Diamond Dust, okay? And you can just go straight into the fight with the 3 Grass Strikes. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to Night Bloom with Aerith, the main one, right in the center, okay? Boom. And then you can just go straight into Diamond Dust. Or you could have used Frenzied State with Sephiroth, which would have added more damage to this, so I kind of had a missed opportunity right there. Alright, it's still going to do a ton of damage. Aerith is still stunned. I'm just going to come out of here, and we're just going to use Sephiroth right here, and it's over. Or should be over in about 2 seconds. Alright. So the third fight, I think probably one of the easiest fights of all 3, or of the 5. So not too bad at all, especially with the summons here. Like when you have these crisis dungeons where the summons do a ton of damage, it really helps a lot. So as you can see, we're going to get a 61k score, which is like pretty damn high. I think it's like pretty close to as high as you can get. All right, so that's the 3rd crisis boss down. Now, for my trance ability here, I'm going to take the physical defense 30% and the magic defense 30%. Okay, that's going to help make us tanky enough for the last 2 bosses. All right, let's go. And coming up here. Heading back to the final room right now. So as you guys can see, it's not too terrible. It just takes a little finesse like all of these crisis dungeons do. But honestly, this is my favorite part of the game, is figuring out these strategies, the builds for these characters. All right, so now we don't have to worry about any more random mobs. Coming up here, we're at negative 9%, negative 18%, negative 13%. The chest up there is going to be a tent. So don't worry if you don't have any potions or supplements left. And items are meant to be used. I did a run right before this when I got S+, and I basically used as many items as I could to see if it would pull from my score, and I still managed the S+ score. So that is what items are for. All right, so right here, I'm going to use a Fire Cocktail on Cloud and a Blizzard Cocktail on Sephiroth. And then I'm going to use one Summon Gauge charge on Sephiroth right here. Boom. And we're going to go straight into the fight. Remember, like the Mole Crawler, you're going to save your summons until he's at his halfway point when he starts to, a little bit after when he summons his little guys out to fight. Because his DPS gets higher at that point, and that's when you want to burn him down. Alright, so let's start with Aerith. We're going to go for the Night Bloom. Fully debuff him right there. Alright. Sephiroth is going to get his magic attack boost up, and we are just going to do as much damage as we can right here. I'm going to switch over and hit the Healing Wind. Alright, get Cloud a little bit of a heal. So it's kind of like a steady battle until the halfway point. Alright, I'm going to use Kiraga, and we are going to take his Fist Bash right here. Alright, does a decent amount of damage to Sephiroth, but not terrible. At that point, we are going to switch back, start going for the heal. He's going to start summoning his guys soon. Alright, so here's the X Sigil and Triangle Sigil. Take it down as quickly as you can. Alright, here we go. We're going to re-debuff him. I'm going to get off a heal. And now we're just going to go straight DPS at this point, as much as you can. And coming up here in a second, we are going to use the summons right when he gets into the red. Alright, boom, right here. And this should be the end of the fight. So as you can see, not a terrible fight. Especially if you just wait till the end. Because he's not so bad at the beginning, especially when you get that Sigil break right there, which is super easy if you're using the Edge Wings and the Murasame with Cloud because of the Sigil boosts. It's going to go down really quick. It's going to give you that last window to do that last quarter of his HP, and then you can just hit him with the summons. Alright, so we are going to get a score of 56,000, and that is the 4th of the 5 Crisis bosses. Okay. And for our last trance ability, I'm going to take this one in the middle. You do not need Fire Potency anymore, and you do not want to lose your physical and magical defense. So we are going to take the Ice Potency plus 15% in the middle. Come up here, grab your tent. Beautiful. Alright, run over here to Rufus, stop right before him, see what your status is of your characters. Alright, so it does look like we could use a tent, so I'm going to take that. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to use a Blizzard Cocktail on Sephiroth, a single Fire Cocktail on Cloud, then we're going to use 2 Summon Charges on Sephiroth, because we're going to take out Rufus's pup right off the bat, so before he can get off his attack, and then it's just a fight with Rufus. Alright guys, let's get into it. Final boss, here we go. Alright, so for Aerith, I'm going to Night Bloom, and straight into Diamond Dust. Alright. Let's go. Alright, Dark Star is down right off the bat. There we go. Here comes the Blast Shot. Switch over to the defense stance. Alright, significantly debuffed because the pup went down. Here comes our Bright Lights. Just keep your characters healed up, and this fight should be pretty much a cakewalk at this point. Alright, here is his Sigil Break. Just keep his debuffs up and just go after it. It's not going to be so bad at all. Alright, here comes the counter shift. Switch over to Cloud. All triangle Sigil breaks right here, so just do as much as you can. As you can see, since we're using a Ruin-Ra, we're not going to be bringing up his counter gauge at all, which is going to make it super chill. And as you can see, Cloud by himself is more than capable enough to get that done. Alright, there we go. Here comes Sephiroth. And we're going to get all the summons right here at the end, and it's going to be the finish. Alright guys, I think that should basically do it for the very hard Shinra building. Like I said, if the Assault Scorpion is killing you with Tail Laser, bring a D-Faith. You can get that recipe now in the game, which is a very helpful recipe. But other than that, just follow this guide as I did it. Take out the random encounters as I did it as well, and I think that this is more or less the easiest way to clear through this. whether you're a free-to-play player or not, I think that these strategies are applied the same for almost every character. I mean, unless you're so strong that you can just power through it, that you don't need strategy. I don't want to. I spend a little bit of money on this game, and the reason I don't spend more is not so much because like I want to save money, but more so because I don't want the game to become so easy that everything's a cakewalk. Like that to me seems like kind of brutal, because I feel like the point of the game is to play it. And so I like the difficulty. So here I get a little bit of fun with pulling on some stuff. At the same time, I still maintain the difficulty in stages. So I hope that this guide helps you guys to clear it, to get the S+, the mithril ores. So there we go, actually just beat my last score. So there's the 811,000 and the S+ ranking for Shinra Building very hard. All in all, I really hope that these guides are helping you guys get through this. A lot more people have been watching my guides as of late. I think a bunch of free-to-play players, all kinds of players as well. And so I really appreciate your guys' support on my channel, and I love making these guides. I love Final Fantasy VII. To be honest, like this game, even though it is a bit grindy, is kind of like, for a gacha game, like a dream come true for me. So I love doing this stuff. I'll be making guides for as long as I can for the game and slowly going through it forward. In the future, we will get way more quality of life updates, more game version, or like different ways to play the game, and it's just going to become so cool over time. All right, so there you go. Congratulations on your new mithril ore. Get those weapons level 90, although I do recommend saving always at least 30 mithril ore, just in case for some reason you need to make a weapon level 90. So that is my last suggestion, is don't burn them too fast, because when you can't get them, you literally can't get them. So yeah, that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys the best out there with your S+ clear on the Shinra Building very hard. And hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.